It's time for Morton in the Morning on WVBF, a weekly get-together with your friends at Morton Hospital. Coming to you every Wednesday at 11:05 a.m., Morton in the Morning brings you full access to the latest hospital news and health information. Stay in the know about important health and wellness topics, new doctors and services, and upcoming events, and get to know the team at your community hospital. And now, Morton in the Morning.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Morton in the Morning. I'm your host, Julie, and we are coming to you right here from Morton Hospital, your community hospital in Taunton. And if you are new to our Morton in the Morning show, we are broadcasting every Wednesday at 11:05 a.m. right here on WVBF, your hometown radio station. And we feature a variety of health and wellness topics and also many great special guests from doctors to staff and beyond. And we are really excited to be joining you today with another new show. And as I always do, I just want to remind everyone how you can reach out to us here at Morton in the Morning. If you have any feedback you want to share with us, if there's any follow-up questions you have from any of our past shows, or if you want to suggest a topic for a show in the future, you can email us at mortoninthemorning@steward.org. That's MORTON in the morning at STEWARD.org. And we'd be happy to get back to you, and we check that email on a regular basis. So send us a note. Let us know how you're enjoying the show. And also to note, if you ever miss our show, don't worry. All of our shows are actually uploaded online. They are posted to YouTube, and from there we share the link to our Facebook page. So you can find any of our past shows posted on our Facebook page. You can search for Morton Hospital on Facebook, or you can just type into your browser facebook.com/Morton Hospital MA, and you can like our page, follow our page, find all of our posts, and really know everything that's going on here at Morton Hospital, and again, find our past Morton in the Morning shows. So again, we have a new show for you today. At the end of today's show, we'll provide some updates, including about a new doctor, about an upcoming hiring event that we have, and some information on some sponsorships for community events that we have coming up as well, which are really exciting. But because we have such a great guest today, let's dive right into the interview portion of today's show. So this week at Morton Hospital, we are celebrating many healthcare observances, but one of those is National Nutrition Month, and we thought that would be a topic of interest to many of our listeners. So today we have a great nutrition topic, and we are joined by a special guest who's not an employee here, but she's a student here. So welcome, and please introduce yourself.
Yes, thanks. Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm a dietetic intern here at the hospital. I started here in September of last year, so I've been here for a few months, and my last week will be next week.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad we had you on when we did.
Yeah, thanks.
And are you going to school somewhere locally, or?
I actually graduated from Florida State University this past summer. So yeah, I grew up in Florida, moved here in August for my internship, just because I wanted like a change in scenery, and my twin sister actually lives here, so It's been nice here.
Okay, awesome. So so you just graduated, so what got you interested in the field of nutrition?
Honestly, it probably started back when I was in high school. I got really into physical fitness, just because I was really, really skinny at the time and I wanted to put on some muscle. So I got into fitness, and then soon after realized that nutrition plays a big role in your physical fitness goals. And I decided pretty early on that that's what I wanted to study. And then I realized that nutrition's impact goes far beyond just physical fitness goals, but it can really impact a person's life and improve their quality of life, whether they have like heart failure, kidney disease. And I just thought that was really rewarding and something that I wanted to be a part of.
Well, that's great. Well, it sounds like it's a great field for you because you're passionate about it for a a personal reason.
Yeah.
And your issue, I'm sure, is more rare. A lot of people are like, I want to use nutrition to lose weight, but you used it to gain weight, which is very interesting. So it goes to show just, how much of a role the food can play in helping you reach whatever your goals are.
Yeah, definitely.
So we have an interesting topic today, and I know it's something that you had provided some education about to our hospital staff recently. We're going to be talking about plant-based proteins. That is a new topic for me, and I'm wondering if maybe it's a new topic for a lot of our listeners. But it's pretty straightforward. I mean, a lot of people out there don't eat meats. Some people are vegetarian, some people are vegan. So let's talk about plant-based proteins. What exactly are they? What are some examples?
So when people think of protein, they often think of meat, but there are a lot of plant-based sources out there. There are things like lentils and quinoa, chickpeas and beans. Those are all good sources. And then you have your meat alternatives that can come from tofu or tempeh or seitan. And then you have things like pea protein powder, soy milk, and even nuts and seeds have a good amount of protein in them too.
Okay, well that's good. I definitely eat some of those in my diet.
Yeah.
I am a meat eater too, though. But let's talk about protein in general. So, is protein, or are there different types of proteins in these plants?
So there are different types of protein in plant proteins. All proteins are made up of amino acids, and most of our animal proteins are complete proteins, meaning that they contain all of the essential amino acids. And then most of our plant products are incomplete proteins, meaning they're missing at least one amino acid, besides a few exceptions like quinoa and soy. So a lot of the times when you're eating plant-based products, it's good to combine two incomplete sources, like beans and rice, for example, because that makes a complementary protein, and that way you can obtain all those essential amino acids. Another example is like peanut butter on toast, things like that.
Okay. So, I mean, I guess, let's go back to the basics. Like, how much protein is actually recommended for the average adult in one day?
Yeah, so the average healthy adult, it's about 0.8 grams per kilogram. And obviously that can increase slightly if you have like a chronic illness or if you're hospitalized. But for the general population, a healthy adult should be getting around 0.8 grams per kilogram. So, for example, someone who weighs 140 pounds, that's around 64 kilograms. So they should be eating around 50 grams of protein per day.
Okay, so we have to do a little math.
Yeah.
Now on nutrition labels, is it listed as grams or?
Yeah, on nutrition labels, it's listed as grams.
Okay.
And then if you really wanted to figure it out, you can just take your weight in pounds, divide that by 2.2 to get kilograms, and then you can multiply that by 0.8 and see how much you should be getting per day.
Okay, I will have to try that later.
Yeah.
Something I'm going to start paying attention to.
Yeah.
So we're going to get a lot more into this topic because, again, it's new to me. I have a lot of questions. I'm sure our listeners do as well, because this is really something new that a lot of people are starting to think about, the topic of plant-based proteins. So a lot more questions for you, Hannah. If you're just tuning in, we're celebrating National Nutrition Month here at Morton Hospital, among many other observances. And we have a great nutrition topic. We were talking about plant-based proteins. And if you've never heard of that, or if you want to learn more, you will want to keep listening. And our guest today is Hannah. She is a student with our Nutrition Services Department, and we are grateful to have her. She is full of knowledge. So more to come on this topic, but it is time for us to take our first break of today's show. And few messages for you from our partners at WVBF, and we'll be right back with more on this great nutrition topic. And before we break, a reminder how you can contact us. Email us anytime at mortoninthemorning@steward.org. That's MORTON in the morning at STEWARD.org. We'll be right back after this short break.
We'll be back with more of Morton in the Morning in just a few moments here at WVBF.
At Morton Hospital, we're proud to be nationally recognized for quality and safety. In addition to recently achieving the Gold Seal of Approval and accreditation from the Joint Commission, the Leapfrog Group has named us as a straight A's hospital for having received 5 consecutive A hospital safety grades since 2020. To learn more about our achievements and awards, visit mortonhospital.org.
And now back to Morton in the Morning here at WVBF, Hometown Talk Radio.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Morton in the Morning. We are coming to you with our second part of today's show after our first break. And if you're just tuning in, we have a great show. It's on a nutrition topic. We are talking about plant-based proteins, and it's actually very interesting. We have a great guest who is a wealth of knowledge on the topic. Her name is Hannah, and she is a student with our nutrition services team, and we're doing this topic because it's National Nutrition Month, and there's so many different general nutrition topics, but this is one that we thought may be of interest to everyone. It's sort of unique, it's somewhat new, something that people are thinking about as more and more people are trying to eat less meat in their diets and eat more plant-based proteins and vegetables. So before we took our break, we were talking a little bit about how much protein you need in your diet, and Hannah gave some great examples of plant-based proteins. So out of all these plant-based proteins, which ones actually have the highest amount of protein?
So a seitan, which is like a meat alternative.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's made from mixing wheat gluten and spices. It has about 21 grams per 1/3 cup. Tofu is also a good source. It has about 15 grams per 4 ounces serving. And then also something like quinoa, it has 8 grams per cup.
Okay, I like quinoa a lot.
Yeah.
Now that seitan, is that, you often see that almost as a substitute for chicken, right?
Yeah.
Does it look like chicken? Is the texture similar to chicken?
Yeah, it's kind of like a crumbly texture. So I would compare it to maybe like ground beef.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's kind of has like a soft texture to it.
Okay. And then I just, thought of, now there's this whole Impossible beef now that everyone says you can barely tell the difference, and it kind of looks like beef, which is very interesting. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I've had a couple Impossible burgers. I really like them. I know they look exactly like meat, and I think they have like beet juice in them to make it look like animal blood.
Yeah.
But I really like the taste of Impossible burgers.
Okay, I've never tried one. I don't know why. I love vegetables, but maybe I'll give it a try.
It tastes like meat, in my opinion.
Very interesting. Okay, so we talked about the protein that's required. If you're not eating meat, with all these plant-based, are you still able to get the recommended amount of protein that you need in your diet from these plant-based?
Yes, it's definitely possible. It may be easier to reach your protein goal with animal sources, but it is definitely doable with solely plant-based sources. I would just recommend maybe trying to have a plant-based protein source with each meal and even with each snack, just to make sure you are getting enough.
Okay.
But
and then you had mentioned combining some too, right? So if you do that together, it's going to up the protein count.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So would you say, or, has it been studied, is plant-based protein actually healthier than meat from protein from meat?
So, yeah, that's the big debate. I actually did a debate on this in one of my undergrad courses.
Oh.
There are pros and cons to both animal and plant-based sources.
Okay.
I will say that plant-based sources usually do provide a lot of other nutrients and vitamins and minerals. And plants also have fiber, which help regulate blood sugar and maintain gut health. So that's a plus. And some meats do tend to have like animal meats tend to have more saturated fat and are less heart healthy. So like it depends what type of sources you're getting it from. Like, for example, if someone's eating a bacon and a burger every day versus, you know, tofu and quinoa, then the plant-based sources are going to be considered a bit better. And with saying that, I don't want to say that you have to cut out meat completely, because it definitely does have some benefits. And if you're getting it from good sources like eggs and dairy, that can definitely be beneficial. But maybe just trying to incorporate plant-based products more often, like doing a meatless Monday or something like that, that would be beneficial.
Now, is there something that's essential to our diets that is missing from these plant-based proteins that's in the meat proteins?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so they both have a lot of pros and cons.
Yeah,
but,
both have pros and cons, but
there's probably a lot more unhealthy meat-based, you can't eat bacon every day, right? I mean, that's not healthy. It's a high fat content and everything.
Exactly.
And now, is there such thing as having too much protein in your diet?
I mean, as with everything, you can probably overdo it to a point. But I feel like eating too much protein in your diet is probably kind of hard to reach, because most people struggle with even getting enough.
Yeah.
But protein is ultimately really good for you, so I wouldn't be worried about like getting too much per day.
Well, I know, like you had said, you were trying to gain weight. I mean, I know of a lot of people that are on, like, they're trying to build muscle and really bulk up, and they eat so much protein, and that's kind of like all they eat to get there. But it's still healthy as long as they don't overdo it. Okay. So, you know, along those same lines, if someone is really physically active, does that average daily recommendation go up slightly?
Their needs may be slightly higher for someone who does like a lot of resistance training or endurance workouts, just because that can rapidly break down your muscle protein. So exercise kind of tears and breaks those muscle fibers apart, and those muscle fibers need to be repaired, which requires protein. So I'd recommend maybe like around 1 to even 1.5 grams per kilogram for those like big, for those really into working out. You can go up as high as 1.5.
Okay.
So yeah, slightly higher for those who tend to exercise a lot.
Okay. And like, how long does that protein last and give you energy? Protein lasts pretty long, and it keeps you full for a good amount of time. And plant protein is typically slower digesting, so that's going to last a little bit longer. And also the fiber content of the plant proteins make it harder to break down in the body, so it is going to last a bit longer than some of those animal sources. Okay.
But,
Okay. So, are there any vegetables that carry the plant protein? I don't know if you had mentioned any earlier.
Yeah, so vegetables do have a bit of protein in them. Not a high amount. For example, I think like half a cup of broccoli probably has around 3 grams of protein.
Okay.
So you can find protein in vegetables, but it shouldn't be like a main source of protein.
Gotcha. What other vegetables have protein in them? I mean, is it all vegetables, or?
Most vegetables, like broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, spinach, mostly like those green vegetables are going to have protein content.
Yeah, I never really thought of that. I guess I always just, consider like fishes and meats and everything.
Yeah.
I think that's probably pretty common that people don't even think about the other sources.
Yeah. Vegetables have a little bit of protein, but you're going to get more out of like the fish and the meats and the tofu and stuff like that.
Right. So is there anyone that should, for any reason, avoid a plant-based protein diet, like solely plant-based proteins?
I would say generally speaking, no. Plant-based proteins have a lot of benefit.
Yeah.
The only thing I would be worried about is for like specific cases if someone's deficient in maybe B12 or iron, just because like plant-based sources of iron are not going to be as bioavailable. But there are things you can do, like taking vitamin C to help your body's absorption of iron, or taking a B12 supplement. So generally speaking, I would say no.
Okay. And like a plant-based protein diet, does that have like any effects on your body that are not good, or is it's all pretty healthy?
I would say it's all pretty healthy. It definitely has more beneficial impacts than negative ones. I can't think of any negative ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I know you gave a bunch of examples of the different types of proteins. Do you have any like recipes that you would recommend? Maybe somebody out there wants to try the whole, a plant-based protein diet to cut down on meats in their diet. What are some recipes that you might recommend?
Yeah, so I actually went plant-based for a while, a couple years ago. And I started making tofu, and tofu is pretty bland.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to figure out what you like, and I found out that marinating the tofu makes like a really good flavor. Like, for example, I marinate it in coconut aminos. I mix coconut aminos, sriracha, rice vinegar, maple syrup, a little bit of sesame oil, garlic, and sliced scallions.
It's like an Asian flavor.
And then I let it marinate, and then I coat my tofu in cornstarch because it kind of gives it a little more crispiness.
Okay, that's a good tip.
So yeah, definitely marinating your tofu to give it a little more flavor. And then I also make this recipe that I really like. It's a fried feta and quinoa bowl. So what I do is I roast up tomatoes in the oven. You can use any type of vegetables. I roast up tomatoes, and I heat up chickpeas and zucchini in a pan. And then I'll take a block of feta and I'll slice it into like 1/2 inch thick slices, and I'll pan fry it in some oil and then put that all over quinoa. It's really good.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I actually make a dip that's sort of like my go-to recipe that everybody wants to bring everywhere, when we have, there's, parties or gatherings, and it's like a black bean salsa. So I think that probably has a lot of plant-based. It's definitely no meat.
Yeah.
It's mostly beans and corn and peppers, and it's really, really delicious. It's definitely requested often. So
yeah, and since tofu is like pretty bland, it's kind of versatile. Like, I know one of my internship directors, she makes a chocolate mousse with tofu. She kind of blends it up with cocoa powder. I'm not sure what else, but I thought that was super interesting. Like, you can make it to use mousses and sauces.
Well, it's pretty soft and squishy, so I can imagine that it probably takes in flavors pretty easily.
Yeah, exactly.
I have had tofu in a lot of Asian dishes. Like, I'll order the tofu instead of maybe chicken, like, veggie dishes. And it's pretty good, but it's definitely better when it's crispy. So.
Yes, for sure. I agree.
What about, like, for breakfast? How can you incorporate some of those plant-based proteins? That's really hard to say into your breakfast.
Yeah, so I'll often make overnight oats, and the night before I'll mix like 1/2 cup of oats with 1/2 cup of milk. I'll throw in a little bit of vanilla extract, or like a tablespoon or less of maple syrup. And then in the morning, I'll top it with peanut butter and banana. So that way you have your peanut butter and your oats, which make it a complementary protein. And that's really good.
Okay. That's a nice idea. I have tried that before.
Yeah.
So just out of curiosity, I mean, if anybody, wants to learn more about these proteins, are there any, websites that you might recommend, like dietary sites that have really good information?
The only thing I can think of off the top of my head is maybe eatrightpro.org.
Okay.
I know that's a pretty good website with a ton of information, more than even just plant-based, but it's got a ton of good nutrition information. But they do have a recipes section, and a lot of their recipes are plant-based recipes.
Okay.
So I get a lot of my inspiration from them. And then I follow a lot of plant-based dietitians on Instagram.
Okay.
I can't think of their names off the top of my head, but a quick
now the
search.
Eat Right site, that sounds familiar. Is that where they promote like the My Plate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I know My Plate, there's a section for protein, so you could just, instead of meat, you can use those plant-based proteins to fill in that portion of the recommended plate, right?
Yep, definitely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been very interesting. Now I'm curious to probably learn a little bit more, and I probably like our listeners, we might be eating more plant-based proteins than we thought now that we're thinking about it.
Yeah.
So, So thank you for all that great information. So before we end our time with you, Hannah, I do want to ask a couple final questions of you, primarily to find out what's in the future for you after your time here at Morton with our nutrition team. But also I'm curious because you seem so passionate about nutrition and also just so knowledgeable. So I want to know what your plan is next, and hopefully we have well prepped you for that for the next step of your career. But first, it is time for us to take our second break because we are about halfway through today's show. So we'll be right back after this short message.
We'll be back with more of Morton in the Morning in just a few moments here at WVBF.
Need a primary care provider? Morton Hospital and Steward Medical Group have welcomed 3 new doctors to our community. Dr. Margaret Sywinska and Dr. Yelena Levin have joined our Steward Primary Care of Taunton practice located on Bay Street. For an appointment, you can call 774-501-3229. And Dr. Joanne Sylvia is now seeing patients at Steward Primary Care of Lakeville, seeing patients of all ages. For an appointment, call 508-947-4400.
And now back to Morton in the Morning here at WVBF, Hometown Talk Radio.
Good morning and welcome back to the second half of today's Morton in the Morning show. As a reminder, we come to you every Wednesday at 11:05 a.m. right here on WVBF, your hometown radio station. And before we get back into our interview, because we have a couple more questions for our special guest, I do again want to remind our listeners how you can reach out to us here at Morton in the Morning. You can send us an email at any time at mortoninthemorning@steward.org. That's MORTON in the morning at STEWARD.org. And you can send us any feedback you have, any follow-up questions about any of our shows, or if you want to suggest a topic or a guest for our future shows, we would be happy to take your suggestions for that as well, because we want to make sure that we're bringing you information that you are interested in and that you want to hear about. So send us an email at any time. And then also, if you miss any of our shows, for example, if you're just tuning in, you missed the first half of today's show, it's a great topic, you want to hear about it, you can find all of our shows online on YouTube if you search Morton in the Morning, or on our Facebook page. We share that link on our Facebook page. You can search for Morton Hospital if you're already on Facebook, or type into your web browser facebook.com/Morton Hospital MA, and MA standing for Massachusetts. And on there, you'll find our shows and all kinds of other updates we post regularly on our Facebook page. That's probably one of the best ways to keep up to date on what's happening here at Morton Hospital, from events to new doctors to program announcements, hiring events, and everything else. So be sure to follow us on Facebook. So this month at Morton Hospital, among many healthcare observances, we are celebrating National Nutrition Month. So we thought we would talk about a great nutrition topic for our show today. And it has been just that. We have our special guest, Hannah. And Hannah is a member, well, she's a student here. She's a member of our nutrition services team as a student, but she has been with us since September, and she is only here with us for another week, so we'll be sad to see her leave. But we've been talking about the topic of plant-based proteins on today's show. Might be a new topic for many of our listeners. Lots of great information shared by Hannah. We learned all about some examples of what plant-based proteins are. We talked about some great recipe ideas. We talked about the benefits of plant-based proteins, and also how much protein the average adult should get in their diet on a daily basis. So a lot of great information. And Hannah did mention the eatright.org website if you wanted to learn more about that. There's a lot of great information and also some recipes on there as well. So we are finished with, talking about plant-based proteins, but we wanted to hear more from Hannah, and again, thank her for joining us here today. And like I said, she's been with us for some time now, and I think she has a bright future ahead. I know that you mentioned you've been here since September. It's been about 6 months, so I'm sure you've been a great addition to our team. What have you enjoyed most about being here with the nutrition team?
Yeah, so I started here in Morton doing my food service rotation before clinicals.
Yep.
And during that, it was really cool to see like how a tray line works and how the kitchen staff kind of comes together to feed the whole hospital.
Yeah.
And it was really nice to see like everyone kind of acted like a family there. And then during my clinicals, it's been really nice seeing new faces every day because I get to see a lot of different patients and deal with a lot of different disease states, and I've just been learning a ton, like way more than I ever thought I could learn.
That's awesome.
But I've also been able to do a tabling event here, and I actually have one set up for next week, so that kind of like lets my creative side flow, which has been really fun.
So what do you do, just like feature different like samples or products or education?
Yeah, so I had a tabling event in November. It was centered around like a Thanksgiving theme, so I had little samples of an apple pie stuffing, and then I think it was a pumpkin bisque soup.
I think I tried the pumpkin bisque.
Yeah. And then I'll have a table this month for National Nutrition Month. I'm not sure what I'm going to sample yet, but stay tuned for that.
Well, I will definitely stop by. I love samples.
Yeah.
Especially healthy samples.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I think sometimes, the term healthy eating scares people, but there's so many delicious things that are healthy, so you just need to try it.
Yeah, you just gotta know how to cook it, and trying different things, trying to mix different things, and you can come up with some really cool creations.
Okay, so next week is your last week?
Yeah.
What does your future hold after that?
Yeah, so after this clinical rotation, I'm going to do some of my hours in the community and with wellness, so I'm excited to kind of work in the community side of things. I'm also really interested in maybe working with a retail dietitian, so like at a supermarket.
Oh, cool.
And maybe one day I hope to own my own private practice.
Yeah.
And I do have a very big goal for my future of opening a wellness retreat, but that kind of has its own logistics involved with that, but I like to dream big, so we'll see. Maybe one day. Yeah.
So the retail role that you talked about, what does that person do? Do our supermarkets have someone in that role now?
Yeah, so a retail dietitian, it's not very popular in New England, but where I'm from Florida, I knew it was pretty popular. We had grocery stores called Publix.
I have. Yeah.
So Publix hires dietitians, and basically their role is to come up with recipe development, which is really cool.
And is it for like prepared foods that are served in the store, or?
Yeah, so at a Publix, they have like a recipe of the week where they'll have like a little section and they'll make that recipe and they'll kind of serve it to customers as they're walking by. And I guess it's the dietitians who come up with those recipes and figure out like the nutrition facts and what's all involved with that, which I think is really cool.
That sounds really exciting.
Yeah.
Especially like if you come up with something to see it like displayed and promoted in the store. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, you can even do like some product development as a retail dietitian, which is really cool.
Well, that is great. Sounds like you are very ambitious. I'm sure you'll do wonderful, and hopefully you learned a lot from our team here at the hospital.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Well, it's been great having you, and we wish you the best in your future. And thank you so much for coming on today and providing us with some helpful education.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Okay. Well, thank you again to Hannah. I certainly learned a lot, and I hope all of our listeners did as well. And again, if you missed the show and our topic of discussion, plant-based proteins, you can find the link on our Facebook page. Search for us on Facebook, Morton Hospital, or go to facebook.com/Morton Hospital MA, and you can find all of our shows online. And again, a lot of great information was discussed today. So thank you to Hannah for sharing all of that with us. And of course, we did today's show because it's National Nutrition Month, but lots of other healthcare observances happening in March, so wanted to take a moment to acknowledge those before we take our last break. So National Nutrition Month, but it's also National Professional Social Workers Month. And then earlier this month, we celebrated National Patient Safety Awareness Week. as well as National Pulmonary Rehabilitation Week and Healthcare HR Week. And then on March 8th, we celebrated Registered Dietitian Nutritionist Day. So our nutrition team sort of got double the recognition this month with their special day and their month. So those were the past celebrations, and we went around and thanked all of our staff in those areas. We brought them some special treats and goodies, whether it be lunch or desserts, to thank them for all they do for our patients and our community. And then coming up, we have a couple other observances. So we have National Doctors Day, and that's actually celebrated every year on March 30th. That's their special day. So, of course, we've got some nice treats planned for all of our affiliated doctor offices as well. And it's also Anesthesia Tech Day on March 31st. And the anesthesia techs, they play a huge role here at the hospital. We have a very busy day surgery unit, and of course, they are a critical member of our team there. So we will be celebrating them as well. So it's just about time for our last break of today's show, but when we come back, I do have some announcements to share, so I hope you'll stay with us. I'll be talking about an upcoming hiring event that we have on March 31st. I'll be talking about a new doctor that just joined us in our pain clinic here at Morton Hospital, and also just mentioning a few sponsorships for upcoming community events that we are participating in. So stay tuned. It's time for our last break, and we will return with more Morton in the Morning, which comes to you every Wednesday at 11:05 a.m. right here on WVBF, your hometown radio station. We'll be right back after this short break.
We'll be back with more of Morton in the Morning in just a few moments here at WVBF.
At Morton Hospital, we're proud to be nationally recognized for quality and safety. In addition to recently achieving the Gold Seal of Approval and accreditation from the Joint Commission, the Leapfrog Group has named us as a straight A's hospital for having received 5 consecutive A hospital safety grades since 2020. To learn more about our achievements and awards, visit mortonhospital.org.
And now back to Morton in the Morning here at WVBF, Hometown Talk Radio.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the final segment of today's Morton in the Morning show. I'm your host, Julie. We are broadcasting right here from Morton Hospital, your community hospital in Taunton. If you're new to the show, we are on every Wednesday at 11:05 a.m. right here on WVBF, and we feature a variety of health and wellness topics every week, and also some special guests. And today we certainly had a very special guest, not one of our employees, but a student who has been with us here at Morton Hospital in our nutrition department. And boy, she was a wealth of knowledge. She's very passionate about nutrition and how it affects your health. And today we had a really interesting topic. We talked all about plant-based proteins. And I enjoyed that. I hope our listeners did as well. And I hope you learned a lot about how plant-based sources can be a great source for protein and the benefits of those in your diet. And if you missed it, like I've said earlier in the show, you can find the link to listen online on our Facebook page. So search for Morton Hospital on Facebook, and you can find the links to all of our shows, along with so much other great information about what's happening here at Morton Hospital. So, want to talk to everyone about our next hiring event here at Morton Hospital on March 31st. But first, I would like to introduce our newest doctor who's joined our team here at Morton Hospital. And his name is Dr. Richard Pavo, and he specializes in pain management and anesthesiology, and he has joined our pain clinic team, which, as many of you know, is located right up in our day surgery center right here at Morton Hospital on 88 Washington Street. And Dr. Pavo now makes it 3 providers that we have at our pain clinic, which is wonderful because it's very busy and there's a lot of demand for their services that they offer. He joins Dr. Todorov and Erin McDonough, who is a nurse practitioner who joined our team a few months ago. So, Dr. Pavo is board certified in anesthesiology and pain management. He went to medical school at the UMass Chan Medical School. He did a residency in anesthesiology at Massachusetts General Hospital and Harvard Medical School. And then he also completed a fellowship in pain management at Massachusetts General Hospital. And he's got a few special interests among general pain management. So those include pain related to spine disorders, interventional spine care, and quality improvement. So we are thrilled to have Dr. Pavo as part of our team. He's a wonderful provider. And if you want to learn more, if you would like to try to book an appointment with our pain clinic, you can call them at 508-828-7186. Again, that's 508-828-7186, and it's a great team up there. They'd be happy to chat with you, find out if you need to have a referral or get everything lined up for you, and book you with one of our providers up there, Dr. Pavo, Dr. Todorov, or Erin, who is our nurse practitioner. So welcome to Dr. Pavo. We're excited to have him, and we love welcoming new providers to our community in various specialties. So if you listen to our show and you follow us online, you'll know that we have been having many hiring events lately, and those have been very, very successful. Actually, over the last couple hiring events, we welcomed nearly 50 new hires, which is outstanding. We have been thrilled to welcome new team members to our hospital in various specialties and departments. And we have another hiring event that's actually a walk-in hiring event, and that will be held on Friday, March 31st. There'll be 2 sessions, a morning session from 9 a.m. to noon, and an afternoon session from 2 to 4 p.m., and it will be right here at Morton Hospital, 88 Washington Street. So this hiring event is for all open positions here at Morton Hospital. Not just nursing, but all ancillary departments, and we have many opportunities for you. So again, it's a walk-in event, and you can come, and we just ask that you bring a copy or an up-to-date copy of your resume, and then you will interview on the spot with one of our managers for whatever position you are interested in. A couple of incentives that we are offering. New nurse graduates are welcome to join us. We also have some sign-on bonuses available for new staff nurses who join our team. And then if you join our float pool, our RN float pool, there is an extra $7 per hour for all RNs who join our nursing float pool. So lots of great opportunities, and there are so many positions that we are looking forward to hiring for. Everything from admitting clerks to unit clerks to CNAs to nurses to food services, security, environmental services, interpreter services, switchboard operators. So many great opportunities, and some of those areas you don't necessarily have to have like a license or certification. There are some entry-level positions that you can come right into, even if you're right out of high school. There's some jobs that you are eligible for. So we have a lot of great opportunities, and we hope that our community will come out and join us for this event. Anyone looking for a new career, if you have family, friends who are interested, please spread the word. Again, this is on Friday, March 31st, 9 a.m. to noon and 2 to 4 p.m. So it is a walk-in event. You don't necessarily have to register, but you certainly can register in advance, and you can find the link to register on Indeed, or again, you can find it on our Facebook page. And just one thing to note that we haven't talked about in a while, but for 2022, the Best of the Best Community Choice Awards, Morton Hospital actually was voted the best place to work in the Metro South region. And we were the only hospital to be nominated in that category. And we actually won that category and were voted best place to work. So that is really meaningful to us, and that speaks volumes. So it is a great place to work. I personally have been here for 14 years, and we have a lot of longevity and, again, many great career opportunities. So come on out to our hiring event Friday, March 31st, 9 a.m. to noon and 2 to 4 p.m. right here at Morton Hospital. Walk in, bring your resume, and interview on the spot, and we might even extend some offers right on the spot. So it's a great opportunity if you are looking for a new and exciting career opportunity. So to close out today's show, I just wanted to share some information about some upcoming community events that Morton Hospital is actually a sponsor of and will be participating. And just to put it out there in case anyone in our community wants to also participate in these great events and support some of our wonderful community organizations. So the first is actually a Taunton Area Chamber of Commerce event, which is happening tomorrow night, so Thursday the 23rd. It is their first ever comedy night fundraiser. That's a brand new event for them. It's happening at the district. They've got some great comedic acts, and we are looking forward to being the main sponsor of that event, along with a couple other wonderful sponsors here in our community, and hopefully it will be a night full of laughs. There is a cocktail hour and warm-up acts from 5 to 6, along with a cash bar and complimentary hors d'oeuvres. And the cost is $35 for chamber members and $45 for non-members. And again, that is at the District Center for the Arts on Thursday evening. There's still some sponsorship opportunities available as well. And if you're interested in that event, you can go to the Taunton Area Chamber of Commerce website, click on their events page, and register for the event there. And you can also find the link on their Facebook page. So looking forward to that. Their first ever comedy night. Should be a great night. And then coming up next Wednesday, March 29th, we are actually also the main sponsor of the Girls Inc. Stronger, Smarter, Bolder, a women's workshop. And we did participate in that event last year. It is going to be bigger and better this year. They have a new space which will hold many more people. It's a wonderful event. They have many great speakers and different sessions that you can choose from. And sessions range from fitness sessions such as barre and a nature walk, to a self-defense session, to a financial session, and there's also one on mental health first aid and many other great choices. And they have a lot of special guests that are coming to host those sessions, so it should be a wonderful event. We look forward to participating in that next Wednesday, and you can find more information on the girlsinctaunton.org website. They have that event listed and a link where you can purchase tickets to that. And then on April 14th, we are so excited. We are a silver sponsor of the Boys and Girls Club's Bid for Kids Gala, and that is a huge and exciting fundraiser every year for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Metro South. That is being held at Gillette Stadium on Friday, April 14th. It's a wonderful night. They have speakers, they have hors d'oeuvres, they have a cash bar, they have auction items and raffles, lots of other great special guests that come in, and also an after party at the Splitsville Bowling Alley at Gillette. So really awesome event. I know it attracts hundreds of people every year, and we are looking forward to once again participating in that and supporting the Boys and Girls Clubs of Metro South. And to find more information, go to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Metro South website or find them on Facebook to find out how you can get tickets for that event. It's one you definitely do not want to miss. Our team had a great time last year, and we were looking forward to another fun night to support the Boys and Girls Clubs and the wonderful program that they offer to our community here in Greater Taunton. And looking a little farther out, we are excited for some other great events. April 27th is the Taunton Area Chamber of Commerce annual meeting at the Clarion Hotel in Taunton. In May, we are actually sponsoring their Taunton West Little League annual golf tournament fundraiser at Segregansett Country Club. And then May 20th, the Kiwanis Club of Taunton is hosting their annual cook-off event. It's now called the Taunton Kiwanis Club Cook-Off. It used to be known as Men with Taste, but now it's a little more inclusive. It's not just the men cooking at that event. So all are welcome. The entire community is welcome, and that's a great fundraiser for the Taunton Kiwanis Club. And you can reach out to any of their members for ticket information for that event. And then even farther out, the Taunton Area Chamber of Commerce Golf Tournament on June 26th. So if you'd like to participate in these community events, save the date, look up this information on these organizations' websites. We will be there. We will be sponsoring these events and looking forward to a great time to support these community partners of our hospital. So that was a lot of information. We look forward to joining you in the coming weeks with more new shows. And again, if you have any suggestions for show topics or any feedback about our shows, you can email us at any time at mortoninthemorning@steward.org. That's MORTON in the morning at STEWARD.org. So as we wrap up our show, we once again want to thank Hannah, who was our special guest today on a great nutrition topic. We learned a lot from you, and we wish you the best in your future. And another reminder about our hiring event on Friday, March 31st, 9 a.m. to noon and 2 to 4 p.m. We hope that members of our community will come on out if you're looking for a new career opportunity. It's a walk-in event. You can just bring a copy of your resume and participate in an on-the-spot interview for whatever position you are interested in, and we will be also making some offers there. So great opportunity to explore a new career in healthcare, and again, to be able to work at what was voted the best place to work in the 2022 Best of the Best Community Choice Awards for the Metro South region. So that wraps up our show today. We hope you enjoyed listening, and we hope you will tune in every Wednesday at 11:05 a.m. right here on WVBF, your hometown radio station. From all of us at Morton Hospital, we hope you have a happy and healthy week. Need a primary care provider? Morton Hospital and Steward Medical Group have welcomed 3 new doctors to our community. Dr. Margaret Sywinska and Dr. Yelena Levin have joined our Steward Primary Care of Taunton practice located on Bay Street. For an appointment, you can call 774-501-3229. And Dr. Joanne Sylvia is now seeing patients at Steward Primary Care of Lakeville, seeing patients of all ages. For an appointment, call 508-947-4400.